shall we play a game?
We got Star Wars Unlimited. We got classic Star Wars games. We got old school D&D, independent RPGs, mini painting, Warhammer, of course, tons of other games. But first, we're gonna need some coffee here on Wyrd Barista Productions. Hey everybody, I'm Fen, you're a Wyrd Barista, and this is Retro Reviews, a review show where we go through my copious amounts of RPG books, magazines, and other paraphernalia, one at a time, and to keep me from rambling, we have Laura.
Hey everybody. So what's up tonight?
Wyrd Science Issue number 4.
Okay, so is this one from the
Yep, the Sisters in Christ. It's a retro media shop. They've got CDs, cassettes, VHSs, vinyl, books, magazines.
Probably in a few years they'll have CDs.
Probably in a few years they'll have CDs. But yeah, I found issues 1 through 4. They're just looking through their limited gaming selection, and was like, this looks interesting, I'll pick these up, and I've fallen in love with the magazine.
Yeah, cool. So you want to share what's going on inside of it?
Yeah. So some of the standout stuff that I liked was the What Am I Rolling podcast, an interview with the person with Fiona Howitt. Basically what she does is she does one-shot adventures for a bunch of different RPGs. So each episode of the podcast, some of them do end up being like 2-3-parters, but she tries to do different games time. A couple times she'll go back and revisit one, but it's mostly something new, something fresh each time, just to try out some different games and some different game mechanics.
Okay.
I thought that was really cool. Next thing that stood out to me, I'm sorry everybody, I didn't left my notebook at work, so I don't have my notes with me, but luckily I made the notes relatively soon, so I remember everything. The next up thing that stood out to me was an automatic dice roller. And yeah, so it's basically just a little like electronic calculator. I mean, I know you can get a phone on your, an app on your phone, not a phone on your app. But this one looks like an old school, like something that would fit in on any sci-fi spaceship. Very retro 80s and 70s tech. It's the one he's got here that they've got are designed to do all your D&D dice, all your polyhedrons. So you got D2, D4, D6, D8, D10, 12, 20, 100. And you can just tell how many of the dice to roll and any modifiers to add to it, and it'll just.
So it doesn't, like, it doesn't roll physical dice.
It's an electronic. It's an electronic die. The guy builds these little circuit board kits in his garage and sells them online.
Okay, I was picturing like a robotic roller of actual dice.
Next thing that stood out to me, we need to go to the Deviant plus Dandy brewery sometime when we're in the UK, because they have winter booze. They're playable pale ales. It's a beer that the can you peel off the wrapper, and the wrapper has a mini game inside of it.
That's super cool.
I know, that is just such a cool idea to have these mini game beer cans. It's like, it's so amazing. But I would try to get like something like the importer, but it's really hard to get liquor imported unless you got like an importer's license type thing.
Right. No, I think we just have to go to the UK. Hey.
Yeah. Next up is a game that I think you might actually like. It's the game's called Rivers of London. It's based off a fantasy mystery series of novels. They have talking foxes in this reality.
Oh, that's cute.
And you play as one of like the magical cops in London area, like investigating supernatural and metaphysical crimes.
Can you play as a fox?
Probably, if they've got them in the game, you should be able to play them in it should be playable. But it sounds like it would be really cool. Another one is the Troubleshooters RPG. It's a Swedish-made RPG, but it's based off of French comic books, especially like the spy type stuff from like the golden era of like 007 films, stuff like that. The evil criminal organization you're fighting against is called Octopus.
Is there an actual octopus?
No, they just use like an octopus as their logo.
Oh.
But it's also designed so you're not going to actually like. There's no real actual like messy kill your opponent combat type thing. It's more of like I threw them out the window, they landed in the pool. It's more of that comedic slapdash like more like Sean Connery and Roger Moore era James Bond as opposed to like the Pierce Brosnans and the new guy. What's his name? Anyways.
I never got into this series. But that's a pretty picture.
Yeah. The next one after that is for the Werewolves of Britain. It's a source book for the Liminal RPG. It's basically magic is real in the UK, and
So just the UK.
Well, all over the place, but the game focuses mostly in the UK.
Okay.
And you have this little mining, not mining. It's a steel factory town outside of London that all the werewolves kind of like hang out, and very much like blue collar werewolves idea. I thought that was kind of cool. That was kind of cool.
That is cool.
This was a fun game. Errant. So they had interview with Iva Islam, talking about her game Errant, which is basically like it talks about the colonialism and the system of oppression that is basically inherent in like the old school style D&D, where it's like there's not really any jobs other than like going out and like working for rich people to go risk your life adventuring in dungeons to bring them back treasures. And I'm like, that was such like where I left off my D&D world, where it was like a new magical golden age. They have mechanical robots to take care of like all the menial jobs. So anybody wants to get money, they're like, well, we can go adventuring and get rich, and then we could buy our own mechanicals and have people like this whole like idea of like the systematic oppression of adventurers, where it's like your entire economy revolves around that. I'm like, that is so up my flagpole. I am saluting that. That is such a cool idea.
Yeah. I've never really looked through this magazine, but the illustrations are really cool.
Oh yeah, they've got an amazing artist that works with them. So we got a lot of talk about the skirmish board games like Gloomhaven and Hero Quest that were coming out. A lot of you don't have a lot of time to actually sit there and play like a whole D&D campaign, but having these box games that have the miniatures or the standees, you can just kind of like play a little quick skirmish game. Maybe have them link stories between places. Works pretty good. Then they were talking about the Warhammer 40k Magic the Gathering crossover.
You gonna get into that?
It came out a while back, so it's an old thing because
this is an old
Wyrd Science is currently actually doing their quarterly mission of having issues come out all the time. But issue 4 came out in the spring of 2023. Mm-hmm. The fall 2025 one just came out. John is working on issue number 8 right now. Mm-hmm. Still haven't heard back from you, man. Keep working on it. Don't worry about me. Get to me when you get a chance, dude. Next article they had in here we're talking about was the Cyborg, which is the cyberpunk sci-fi version of Mork Borg. the Swedish, like, really artsy RPG. We talked about a while back. This was another good game that had me interested. Out of the Ashes. So basically, it's more based on community building than adventuring. A magical world war has happened and left the world ravaged, and it's about building back your civilizations after what happens after the big war of the Dragonlance happens and all the towns have been, raised by dragons. What's the stories that happen after that?
Oh, that's cool.
And another game that piqued my interest is the Iron Sworn Starforged. So it's set up to be played as a solo RPG with the game master going in and kind of adventuring and mapping out this Starforged sector that everything gets played in, and then the players come in and adventure through it. It's designed to use the same kind of rules as Monster of the Week. It's the Powered by Apocalypse system, where you don't get experience points for defeating things. You get experience points when you roll bad and level up that way.
So you learn from your mistakes.
Learn from your mistakes. So that seemed like a really interesting kind of thing to do. And I thought it would, like from that aspect of like, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to play the solo RPG, and then I can bring my players into it and be like, okay, I've kind of had some time to play with this game myself before bringing everybody else in and being like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And it felt kind of cool. Like this one, plus the Notorious solo RPG for the Bounty Hunters, and the Bucket of Bolts one that I want to get. I feel like the three of those combined can end up basically being like, okay, you've explored the area, you've created some bounty hunters, you made some ships, really be able to have some tools for fleshing out a sci-fi campaign.
Yeah, that's cool.
And also give you something to do when all your players are like, oh, we can't make it this week. It's like, fine, I'm just going to I'm going to play a solo game and work on getting stuff set up. And, of course, this was the issue that I found out about Notorious, which is that, you're playing, it was Star Wars Bounty Hunters, the role-playing game. Like, you can see every bit of, like, Star Wars stuff they have. You can still see a little bit of the serial numbers on this stuff. But they've changed it enough that I don't think they're going to get sued by Lucasfilm. But they give shout-outs to the creators of the Mandalorian TV series, the writers from the Tales of the Bounty Hunter book, and George Lucas and everything. It's like, it is so much. Like, I haven't actually sat down and played it. I've just read through it, and I'm like, this is going to be so much. It's so much fun just to read that book.
Yeah, that's cool.
Then The Merry Mushman, also, when this book was published, the Folklore Bestiary had actually come out in print, so there's a little blurb about it now that it's out in print with 40 monsters from around the world. They're actually steeped in their original traditional folklore mythology. There's the Herbalist Primer, which is another one of those system agnostic toolkit books where it talks about, like, this is the herb, this is its medicinal purpose, this is what it's used for, what it's believed to be used for magic. Here's their culinary uses for it.
So is this like real herbs?
Yes, it's real herbs. It went through a whole thing of like, just basically going through like every single herb that's out there and being like, okay, this is how you would use it in magic, this is how you would use it in like medicinal purposes, this is like in a spiritual context, this is in a culinary cooking context.
That's super cool.
That is a super cool book. Then they had talked about the Space Station Zero, which is it's basically Uncle Adam and Vincey V, two of the YouTubers I like to follow for their painting and miniature gaming advice. They created the game Rain in Hell. This was their Rain in Hell was their first one. Space Station Zero is their second one. You play. You have a team, like in Kill Team, of your intrepid space adventurers who end up getting trapped on this mysterious space station, and you have to fight other bands of adventurers.
Are they also trapped on
Everybody's trapped on the space station, trying to figure out a way off, but ammunition, food, water, all the resources, you have to fight each other in order to get resources to survive, whilst trying to figure out the mystery of the space station. I thought that was always a cool game to get my hands on, and I do need to get my hands on a copy of that at some point to play it. What was one of the other things that really stood out? Another one that I thought would be kind of cool to get my hands on, and I feel like this would be something that if I was to get Josh into a miniatures game with me, I feel like this would be the one. Dungeon Bowl. So you play as 2 fantasy football teams, not like, oh yeah, I'll take this player and this player. No. We're talking elves, undead, orcs, monsters that play football. And the minis are actually even like sculpted like they're running like football players, or they're holding footballs. You have to go into the dungeon. There will be a random treasure chest in the dungeon that has the football in it. You have to find the football and then get the football out of the dungeon to score. I feel like that would be like the perfect sit around play game for just some crazy stupid like, hey, it's the Super Bowl. We're going to actually watch the game, or no. We're going to play Dungeon Bowl.
Yeah, that's funny.
That was cool. Another book for the gaming theory library is I Am the Law. It's written by Michael Mulcher, who is the advertising guy for Rebellion Press. Rebellion Press is the company that owns the Judge Dredd license and a lot of other popular British punk comics. And they look at, because Judge Dredd is a satire of the police state, and they look at like how Judge Dredd, the stories in the Judge Dredd comic books have mirrored the political landscape of policing in the UK throughout its lifespan. And it really is a really good like critical look at it. And it's kind of funny that such a critical look is actually being published by the company that publishes the comic books and written by somebody at the place.
Yeah.
Next book I want to get for the gaming theory archives is Dice Men. So I've read a lot of the books, and I want to get a lot of the books that track the history of TSR. Well,
TSR?
Tactical Rules System. It's the game that it was the gaming company that Gary Gygax founded to create Dungeons and Dragons.
You told me this last
Talked about it last time. Dice Men is the story of Games Workshop, the people that create Warhammer 40k. So it was founded by Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson, Steve Jackson went off and created his own game company called Steve Jackson Games, created Munchkin, one of my favorite card games of all time. This is the story of like when they had Games Workshop before they left and went off to go do their own stuff, and Games Workshop became the thing it is today. So I'm like, I'd like to dive into that, because a lot of the success of Games Workshop really was like partnering with Gygax and TSR to release, to be the distributors for TSR in the UK. And then they started being like, we'll make our models for D&D, and then we'll make our own games, and that was Warhammer Fantasy, and then everything else came from that, including that Dungeon Bowl game. That's a Warhammer 40. That's a Games Workshop game. Next is, I think, a good book for us to get our hands on, especially with Sylvie getting older. It's so every year in Germany since 1979, there has been a Game of the Year award, a German Game of the Year award. It's awarded to board games. It's not like any games that actually have open combat between players. Like Catan is like the most, I think probably the most competitive game they've had.
Okay.
So it's definitely about these Euro style games where it's not you're trying to defeat and crush your opponent, you're just trying to accomplish your goal before everyone else's.
Okay.
And I think, and it's basically like 40 years of the Game of the Year awards. So it's got a lot of good ideas for some good family games that we can get our hands on when she gets older and starts gaming. And last thing that really stood out to me was the Ballad of Halo Jones. So Alan Moore, who created The Watchmen and a bunch of other really good popular comics, he did this story of Halo Jones, who's this girl who's in this dystopian future where it's like gig economy and everybody's got to like work in order to survive. And she's all like, I don't want to do this. And she goes off on all these adventures, but she keeps finding out, like, no matter where she goes, it's like, well, I got to have a job doing something. But it's like her traveling throughout the universe, like going on these crazy adventures. And I'm like,
so this is, that's fantasy?
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi?
Yeah.
Okay, because, I don't know, it sounded kind of like current day.
Yeah, Alan Moore has really been, like, good on keeping up with stuff, especially in, like, looking at, like, how societies kind of go with his story. So I thought it'd be a cool read to have.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
That's Wyrd Science Volume 4.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Anything pop out to you that you want to make some extra comments on, or?
I mean, a reason to go to the UK. Not that we needed a reason to go to the UK,
but our reason is to go get some playable beers.
Yeah. And the herbalist handbook thing.
That seemed really cool.
Cool. Have as a resource.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, the illustrations in there are super cool.
Yeah, the illustrator, and he's got like does some T-shirts for one of the pubs in the UK. We'll talk about that probably, I think, in a future episode where they dive into that.
Cool. Okay, well, I think that's about it.
Peace.
Bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for staying till the end of the episode. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook at Board Barista Productions. And if you want to support us, Patreon link at the bottom.